all that gather with us, join us today, either physical here at R&R, Dar al-Hikmah Library, IIUM, or via our official IIUM Library YouTube channel. We are thankful today for the opportunity given by the organizer, Dar al-Hikmah Library, IIUM, for organizing this forum. This forum is a climate activity of the ongoing exhibition from flagship Stingless Smart Farming just next to our venue here, which started on 19 December last year and will end next week. The exhibition is display the journey of flagship Stingless Smart Farming since its inception in year 2021. We are relatively new. The research and development, the community engagement, the achievement, and also the product, Stingless product and its downstream. So today at R&R, Dar al-Hikmah Library, here we are very lucky, Alhamdulillah. We have 3 expert panelists here joining us in this forum titled Stingless Bee Honey Industry in Malaysia, Directions and Challenges and Directions. Today, Sayyidul Ayam, Jumaat, Friday, 12 January 2024. Let us begin our forum with recitation of Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. Before we begin our forum, let us take a moment for ta'aruf to get to know our panel a little bit better. I will start with myself as the moderator. My name is Dr. Adibah binti Amir. I'm a lecturer at Department of Manufacturing and Materials Engineering in Kuliah of Engineering. I am also the flagship leader for flagship Stingless Smart Farming. I will start to introduce the panel to my right, the only male panel in our forum. Actually, this is first time we encounter face-to-face. Mr. Arif Zaidi bin Jusof. He is a senior research officer from Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, MARDI. He graduated from University of Bradford in Biomedical Science in 1998 and has been with MARDI since 2001. His main research areas are determination of active components in local fruits and herbs, development of functional foods and functional ingredients based on local agricultural resources, and have delved into the research of Malaysian Stingless bee honey quality since year 2016, and have become a working member of working group for Stingless bee honey, and from 2020 onward has been appointed as the deputy chairman of the working group. Congratulations. And the working group is responsible for the development of Malaysian Standard MS 2683 for the Stingless bee honey specification. Mr. Arif have been collaborating with flagship member before via our industry partner, MyIkra. I think Prof. Zahid sent his salam to all of us. He is down with flu today. Maybe he joined us through YouTube. Prof. Previously, our flagship member, Brother Ahmad Suhairi, went to Sumatra with Encik Arif in Stingless bee honey project.
We all went.
Actually, all of them went except me. Okay, moving to the lady next to me. A very supporting friend, okay, Dr. Nur Hasnida Fizamawi. Thank you, I'm very lucky. I have a good support from her. She is a senior lecturer. She is a senior lecturer and food and nutrition scientist affiliated with Faculty of Food, Science and Technology and Halal Products Research Institute at the University Putra, Malaysia. She graduated from University Kebangsaan Malaysia in year 2003 and pursued her postgraduate study at University of Nottingham. She is also a member of the working group of Stingless Honey Standard under the Department of Standard Malaysia with Cik Arif. She is also subcommittee for honey standard development under the Australian Native Bee Association and Vice President of the Epimondia Asiatas Group for Stingless Honey Standard, which aim towards a recognized food standard for stingless bee honey, both nationally and internationally. In year 2019, an important milestone had been made by Dr. Nur Hasnida and her research team at the University of Queensland, Australia, where they discovered 3-Hanulos, a rare sugar that have been identified as the main sugar available in stingless bee honey. What is 3-Hanulos? Today, we are very privileged to learn more about 3-Hanulos from the very person who made the discovery. Next to Dr. Nur Hasnida, I move to a dear sister to me. I am blessed having so many wonderful friends in stingless bee honey industry. Associate Professor Dr. Najihah Muhammad Hashim from Department of Pharmaceutical Chemistry, Faculty of Pharmacy, University Malaya. Associate Professor Dr. Najihah graduated with a Bachelor of Pharmacy from University Science Malaysia and pursued her postgraduate study in University Putra, Malaysia. At University Malaya, she holds the position as head of a Center for Natural Products Research and Drug Discovery. Her primary research interests revolve around natural product exploration with a focus on the isolation and identification of secondary metabolites from Malaysian medicinal plants and their potential biological activities. Congratulations, recently she was awarded with National Grant for a study on metabolite profiling, authenticity and antioxidant activity in stingless bee honey derived from multiple types of stingless bees. With that brief introduction, to all the panels, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome to IIUM. I will brief the format of this forum. We will go in 4 rounds. As the moderator, I will ask 4 questions and each panel will be given allocated time to answer the question. Okay, are you ready? Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim for round 1. This is the question. Highlight the unique characteristic and benefits of stingless bee honey compared to other types of honey. I invite Dr. Nur Hasnida to start the ball rolling. 6 minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Ibrahim, and thank you for all the audience for attending this seminar. And I think this is a good session for us as researchers who are not really, I mean, like for me, I'm not really the experts in the industry, I would say, but my research is sometimes requires me to work with people in the industry so that we can share our information, and we also get some knowledge from the people in the industry itself. And first and foremost, I think we all would say that we all know about the, research. I mean, what's going on in Gaza, and which is why we are standing in solidarity and wearing this. This is not kufiya, isn't it? Okay, I was looking for kufiya, but I forgot to bring mine. But okay, anyway, as a researcher and also people, especially Muslim, working in this country, we are, whatever we are doing is actually for us to, the goal is that because we are promoting, as a Muslim, we're promoting peace in this world, we should also be developing our strength as a country. So this is why I think we are still doing research in this area. Okay, hopefully that in this Stingless area of research, it can also develop Malaysia into a country with economic strength. So I think that's one of the main motivation for us as well. So if looking at this honey, what we found in research, which is unique, is the sugar. I'm aware that you have known the name as trehalulose. Its name as trehalulose. It's very difficult to pronounce. I'm not sure whether we can give a Malay name or Malaysian name to it, so that it's easier for us to pronounce in the future. We can call it Tre or Has. My name is short, my name, for example. Okay, but anyway, from this discovery, okay, and because trehalulose is found in abundance in Stingless honey, which means that it can be the highest amount of sugar other than fructose or glucose, which is unique than other honeys that we are commonly sold in throughout the world, which is from produced by the species Apis mellifera. But in melaponin or Stingless honey, this has been discovered to be this sugar has been found to be in abundance. And what's more, trehalulose is also has lower glycemic index. And there are also other sugars that are with low glycemic index. For example, sugar alcohol has been known also to have lower glycemic index and antioxidant potential in other sources of food. But trehalulose is different. It's a rare sugar. It's a sucrose isomerase actually, and which makes it unique to Stingless honey. And what's more, because Stingless honey is can only they are only available throughout the world, and they can only live, or they can be farmed in the tropical countries. So this makes it even more unique to Malaysia and other countries in the tropical area. So we also have known from our studies that it's stable. We have stored it in temperature up to 45 Celsius for 6 months. It's still there. And honey that have been stored for 4 to up to 4 years. We haven't done it to more than that, but we found that the trehalulose is still stable, even stored for many years now. So we see that there's a potential in promoting the Stingless honey and increasing, of course, its value. Now it's even more expensive than before already. So we're expecting that with more research we publish, and more discovery into the function of this trehalulose, we will expect that the price of the trehalulose honey will become higher. So I think that is my only point for this. How the trehalulose, how the Stingless honey is unique, right? Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Hasnida. So today we learn new sugar, trehalulose. Before this, we only know glucose, fructose. Okay, today new name, new term, trehalulose, and it's here with us. in Malaysia as a tropical region. Okay, I move to next panelist, Dr. Najiha.
Okay, so if I add, I think should I add all the questions? Okay, first and foremost, I would like to thank Dr. Adiba for your kind invitation. This is my first time to be in UIA. I think also my first time to be in this very nice and huge library. I think it's a significant building because it's just front of the gate, right? So it's very nice, and it's very nice too because you are holding this, a sharing session. This I would say like more to academic and also sharing with students. Also those participants from outside can come join us through physical or through online. It's really, I would like to congratulate the library for holding this kind of event. I don't think UM has. Yeah, maybe in future they will have it, inshallah. Okay, so I'm also new in, Stingless behind research. I started my research on Stingless Bihani, I think in 2018. I'm still like BBNU, newcomer in this area, and applied for a grant. Alhamdulillah, I got the grants. So from these grants, you'll be able to do a lot of works, okay? But it depends on the manpower. So how the student will be able to, be able to do all the collect the sample and do analysis. So the thing that is really unique about this kaluluid compared to honey, honey has been mentioned in the Quran in so many, right? And there's a surah inside the Quran too. But there's not really mentioned the honey is actually only one honey, or is also mentioned directly or literally refer to the Stingless honey. It's quite general, right? So it is important component in our life too. So the unique about this kaluluid is that it is different from the common honey. You see, the common bee, they fly high up, but the kaluluid is can only fly down. I mean, they collect all the nectar from the lower, not high to the plant. So you can see they're just humming around as like bushes or what, and they have a distinct flavor too. If you can taste the honey and our Stingless bee honey, the normal honey is sweet, but the Stingless bee honey, it has different tastes. It's sour, it's acidic. And I have experience when I did my research in Tioman, I collect samples from Tioman Island. So the area in Tioman Island, there's so many mango trees. So the taste is look like a mango. So it's so nice. So it has a very distinct flavor and also aroma. So the fragrance is also different. It depends on where you do you have the beehives and where you do the farming. So it really triggers me the effect of the surroundings, the plant. So it can give different components in the honey. So we can't just say honeybee has Stingless bee honey has a same a standard component. They have different components because it depends on where you collect or you do the farming. You have the beehive where you do this kind of activity. Where are the surroundings? So in my study, I also try to differentiate. What if this bee honey been farmed designed with only one major plant, and what happened if one major plant compared to the several plants? So it should be a different component inside, and we can see the different activity too. Right? So it's very, very interesting, but it's quite hard because Stingless bee honey is a kind of multiflora. So even though they short distance fly, but they can collect everything. Right, so it's good if we can have one. This for study lah. It's good if we can have one particular tree. Then we can compare with the multiflora tree. What are the components? So we know that trees, they have several bioactive components, and this is really interesting for us to look into the therapeutic or maybe to the biological activity of this Stingless honey. Alright, so I think that's all I would like to share about the uniqueness, one or two uniqueness of this Stingless honey.
Thank you, Dr. Najiha. So we have learned two things, the uniqueness about Stingless honey. One, the sugar, new sugar, trehalulose, and second, about the plants, okay, the types of plants that they grow. So to our third panel, Encik Arif, the unique characteristic and benefits of Stingless honey compared to other types of honey, 6 minutes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you, Dr. Arifah, for inviting us. Thank you for having me and the rest of the panel today in this great event. And congratulations to the organizer for organizing such a, I would say, a big event because it lasted for almost 1 month, since 19th of December. So I've never been to such a long exhibition event. But then this is such a great event in trying to introduce or publicize more about Stingless honey or Stingless industry itself to the public. I think this is a very beneficial event. Okay. So I think most of the points, most of the important points have been covered by the two panels. So I'll just add a little bit more. This is based on findings by other researchers and researchers at Mardi. What they have done, actually they have compared Stingless honey against Apis honey, and what they found was there are more different types of bioactive components in Stingless honey compared to Apis honey. So maybe Stingless honey can give more different effects to our body, but then we need further human studies to verify that before we can claim on that. And one more, I will touch a little bit on free phenolic acids. Based on our findings, this is our own data. Actually, it's quite an old data. What we did was we compared, we analyzed different types of honeys. Apis honey, and then we compared against Clearlook honey. And on the left, actually, those are different types of free phenolic acids, and unfortunately we cannot see at the bottom. Actually, at the bottom there, there's a total amount of free phenolic acids in each sample. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So the rightmost sample is Clearlook honey with a value of 331.6 microgram per gram fresh weight. When we compare that to the other Apis honeys, all of them are much lower than what we can find in Clearlook honey. So what's so special about free phenolic acids? Free phenolic acids, they are a group of small compounds. What's so special about it is that they are readily absorbed by the upper gastrointestinal wall. So this means that it can be absorbed within the first 5 to 30 minutes after ingestion. So that is very fast, that is very quick compared to other bioactive components, which may take between a few hours to maybe up to 24 hours before it can be broken down by the large intestines and absorbed into the bloodstream. So maybe we can, based on these findings, maybe we can probably formulate some kind of health supplements which are fast absorbed and can give fast benefits to the body. So I think I'll stop there first and then we'll continue later. Thank you.
Thank you, Encik Arif. From Encik Arif, so we learned another term, phenolics. Phenolics, okay. That's contributing to our healthcare and well-being when we consume Stingless bee honey. It have higher content compared to other types of honey. So we move on to round two. Question number two. Each panel again will be given 6 minutes, but they are very efficient. I don't need a timekeeper. My question is, describe the current status of Stingless bee honey industry and its challenges. I will start with Encik Ali.
Okay, that's good. Okay, since I cut short my previous answer, so I think I have another extra time for this one. Okay, regarding the current status of Stingless bee industry in Malaysia, what I would say is that, okay, before we describe the current status, the normal theory about industry, any industry basically, there are 4 phases of industry. We start with introductory or introduction phase, and then growth phase, and then maturity phase, and then decline phase. So how can we classify this Stingless bee industry currently? We have to observe what's happening in the industry. Now what we can see is development and marketing of new products based on Stingless bee honey. But then at the same time, we can see lots of consumers not knowing very clearly what's happening. I mean, they don't know what Clulo is, or they don't know, they have never seen Stingless bee. They haven't tasted it. They don't even know whether it is edible when they see the honey, and then it tastes differently when they first taste it, and they don't know how to categorize it. Is it really honey, or is it something else, maybe poisonous or something? So, so this is considered as an introductory phase. And in this phase also, we can see profits from the industry can go up and down, very uncertain in terms of marketing, in terms of market size, still not as big as we would hope, and still we can see farmers leaving the industry depending on the economic situations, and we can see the demand goes up and down. We can see actually very recently, based on what I asked the people in the industry at the beginning of the year, when people may be busy preparing for their kids to go to school, they spend a lot on preparation of for that. So the demand tends to be smaller, slower sales, something like that. So that's the characteristics of introductory phase. At the same time, externally, I would say we can see export markets have started to receive our Stingless bee honey from Malaysia. I know maybe 2 or 3 companies started sending our Stingless bee honey abroad, and they are well accepted by the consumers over there, and this is a good progress for the industry. So I would say this is a good progress for the industry, and then a lot of initiatives by the companies themselves. They are trying to do R&D on their own because now they have more capital. They are trying to open the market in other countries as well. They are helping us. So to describe the current situation, actually, what's the status of the Stingless bee industry in Malaysia? Actually, it's a mixture of both introductory and growth phase. But to say that we are in mature phase, I don't think it is, because there are still lots of avenues to be explored, and we need more efforts for that. So what should we do? What should we do in these 2 phases, in a mixture of 2 phases? Actually, we need to protect the industry and let it grow bigger. What do I mean by protection? We need to protect the industry against harmless activities like honey adulteration, selling of fake honeys, something like that. We need to build consumers' confidence in Stingless bee honey. More education needed. We have to propagate knowledge about Stingless bee honey, build a brand, build a Malaysian Stingless bee honey brand, a good brand that other people or other countries can see. Maybe at the same level or nearly to the same level as Manuka honey. We are hoping that one day. So this is also where the standards come in. That's why we have developed MS2683, the specification of Stingless bee honey, and it has been launched in 2017. But then, of course, we need to revise the standards regularly. We cannot depend on old data because situations can change. There are new developments, of course. So at least we need to revise it every 2 years. We need to discuss with the researchers. We have to consult the farmers, so that these standards can be used effectively against, for quality monitoring, for quality assurance, and for enforcement activities by the authorities, so on and so forth. So that's what we hope, and that's we are hoping for all other parties, all farmers, all researchers from all IPTAs in Malaysia to join forces and contribute to the industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arif. A very comprehensive view from multi-perspective. On the status of Stingless bee honey industry in Malaysia, also known in Nusantara as Keduyut. So I invite Dr. Nur Hasninda to elaborate more on this question.
Okay, thank you. It is a challenge, as we know from Encik Arif, from what Mr. Arif has told us, in terms of the production and standardization and consumers' acceptance. But of course, with every new product, there's always challenge. That's not something. It's common challenges for new products to get into the market. So what I'm going to explore here is more on, or explain here is more on the international standards. And can you go to the table? Okay, so the challenges in the international standards, we have a Codex International Standard for honey, and currently it's only set for honey that are produced from Apis mellifera honey, for Apis mellifera species, which is the common honeybee. And there are no specific standard in Codex set for Stingless bee honey. So we find that it's very important that there should be a specific standard for Kelulut honey. Can you enlarge this table? So this is what we published in a recently in our recent publication in the Journal of Science and Food Agriculture. So you can read the whole manuscript. But what I'm sharing with you is a table, and in the table, okay, we have put there the red boxes. So all those red boxes indicate the values which are not adhere to the Codex in the international standards. So if you look at the rows where these boxes are located, okay, so I cannot see from here, but you can see that moisture level. Okay. Okay. That's all right. I think I remember this table. Okay, so on the top of the list is moisture level. Okay, so that is the main problem. So in raw condition, this is with like the raw honeys. So from raw hives, the moisture level is quite high. Some of them can reach as high as 35% moisture. So this is does not adhere to the moisture content that is set by the international codex, which should be less than 30%. So that is one of the challenge. So that currently the Malaysian standard set the moisture up to 22%, which means that Stingless bee raw honey should be dehydrated in order to meet this standard. So that is itself a challenge because dehydrating costs money, and and it also takes time. And this is something that someone like Dr. Adipa is doing a research on to find the most efficient way on drying honey or Stingless bee honey, right? So secondly, if you look at this, the free acidity. So this one is something that we cannot change because the Stingless bee honey is naturally high in organic acids, so which contributes to the high free acidity content. Mineral contents also can be higher. Not mineral, EC, electrical conductivity, which can also be related to the organic acids present. Other than that, in the International Codex Standards, it specifically says that the fructose and glucose content should be no less than 60%. So this is something that Stingless bee honey also cannot meet, because if you look at the fructose and glucose, the bottom, F plus G, you can see that F plus G, right? So the percentage of fructose and glucose in Stingless bee honey is less than, most of them will be less than, I think all of them, it's less than 60%. If you total in terms of total sugar. This is because if you look at the amount of trehalose, scroll downwards, trehalose. So you can see trehalose, it's not in the red box because trehalose is nowhere mentioned in the Codex International Standard because it's not the sugars that is considered, as one of the sugars in Apis mellifera honey. So you can see here the amount of trehalose is very high that we detected in all, and since then I think we have run more than 200 samples, and all of them contain trehalose a significant amount, not lower than 10 grams per kg. So this is why this is a challenge to set a new international standard. Food standard is used so that the food can be exported and it can be recognized by other countries. So currently, it's hard for us to, we can, as Arif said, people are now from other countries are interested to buy this honey, but in terms of its recognition, it's not yet available in terms of the food standard. So this is one of the challenges that we have. Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Hasnida. She even shared her finding, complete paper to help us understand the bottleneck issue that is faced by tropical honey, like glued honey. Because Codex is championed by the European honey. So that's where we should, that's why we have such event like this, to educate everybody. Dr. Najiha, okay, we want to hear from you also.
Yes, sure. So I've been more on because I'm a pharmacist. So, and also my area is more to the secondary metabolites. Secondary metabolites is different from the primary metabolites. So maybe some people are looking into that primary metabolites of amino acids, sugar, right? So mine is more the secondary metabolites, okay? So I'm more interested into that, pharmaceuticals or nutraceuticals. So there are many benefits of this, I would say, as could be a functional food, the Stingless bee honey, which is related to the nutraceuticals. So there are many challenges, even though there are many benefits, but there are so many changes in producing these nutraceutical products, okay? The thing that they have all mentioned here, that in terms of production, because we have very limited quantities of production of these Stingless bee honey. There are not many farmers having this kind of farm, and if they have, it's not big, it's quite small. I know there are many farmers, there are many companies, not a pharma company, they are manufacturing, but still not enough to supply this Stingless bee honey to the consumers in Malaysia or outside Malaysia. And to my knowledge, after I collaborated with my ECROM, so I give talk to, I can mention here too, the pharma company, Pharmaniaga. I think you all know there's been a billboard on the Stingless behind. I'm not sure it's the name. I'm not promoting the product. I think I know. So they are also, okay, it's a good move for the pharma company, okay, because this is quite a first time for a pharma company to promote, I would say, this Stingless behind it. Not many pharma companies are interested to do this. So that is very, very positive move from the pharma company, not only looking the pharmaceutical product, not only the drug, because to produce a drug, it takes more than 10 years to come up with that. And Malaysia don't have even, our own drug we producing from Malaysia, we can be a champion for this kind of functional food. So for all the drugs that come from, a European company, and it's quite hard to get active pharmaceutical ingredient, because we don't have enough source. Yeah? So that is the main thing, enough source. So maybe we need help, from the government to support this kind of activity, right? So people don't look this activity is something could be profitable to them. I'm not sure, but this one really help us, really help the industry. Or maybe others was going to paint shading later, I don't know. So they may have the kind of activity later, right? But do not work in silo. You have to work in a group. You have to have a society, so that we can have a strong, cooperation, and we can fight and go forward to the government to help to support this kind of project. Another issue in producing this nutraceutical product or the functional food is, to get manpower, to get a skillful staff or what. Not many of us know how to, to cultivate or to do this kind of farming. No, you can just buy a lot and just leave it like that. No, there are things that you have to know. You just can't leave it like that because there's a queen inside that inside that law. So if the queen is there, they should produce things. And they have many soldiers that go and collect those honey. So it needs a very good, manpower. That is also our challenge to get this thing. I think Ji also mentioned about adulteration, because this honey is sour. The acid, the pH is around like 2.3 to 3. So people can add in acid, like acetic acid, So it's like, vinegar or what. Right? So they can make it a fake honey. So, and yet they are selling very expensive. So you've been fooled by this group of people who are looking for the profit, instead of the benefits of this drug. You should get the benefit, instead you get harmful for this after you taking or consume this kind of honey. And another thing, the challenges is that because we don't have enough clinical data or research data, all right? We are still new, we don't have enough research and clinical data, because to produce a good nutraceutical product or to get registered, you have to have a certain criteria too. And to comply with this is quite difficult. So you need GMP, you have to have a good formulation, in terms of bioavailability, you have to look into that, okay? And in terms of safety, okay? Don't just say that all those natural products are safe. Please do not think like that. They are also toxic compounds could be in the Stingless behind. We don't know. So when I do my research, we found there are chemical secondary metabolites too. Maybe Dr. Noor is looking into the glucose. So I'm also trying to collaborate with her to see is there any glucose in our honey too, and also the secondary metabolites in the honey. The secondary metabolites, for example, the polyphenols, the phenylpropanoids, the flavonoids, they're also present in Stingless honey, but not as much as you can find in the herbs. There are a little amount, but they are also contributing to the benefits, more to the general the general health. Okay, I think that would be just a few. I think the challenges when we want to produce this nutraceutical product or this functional food in the market.
Thank you, Dr. Najiha. she mentioned a lot of things. One takeaway that I want to repeat is work together. Whichever area that we are in, are we beekeeper, are we researcher, are we just consumer, work together so that we can bring this industry to a higher level and protect it. Now, coming to my third question, this is round 3. Describe the opportunities and potential directions of stainless steel honey industry. I will start with Dr. Najiha.
Okay, thank you. So because I'm more into the medicinal plants, so I can see the potential if we do this bee farming around medicinal plants, because they have so many, bioactive compounds that could really help to benefit us in terms of targeting certain disease, right? So maybe in diabetic, like what Dr. Noor mentioned, and it also has benefit in other pharmacological activity, like wound healing property, antibacterial activity. There are so many benefits, and not to forget the antioxidant, right? Another thing is that the plant that we want to find is make sure this plant is sustained. So that is the opportunity I think we can find out. I think government has come into this to the NKEA. They have identified that plants, herbal plants that could be beneficial for us to do R&D and for industry to look into to do the promote of this medicinal plants. So it could be if these beehives or the farmers to do farming around this area, and do not do near the road or around your house. Better the surrounding is more to medicinal plants, which can bring more benefit to the product. Okay, that is the opportunity I can see. And also another thing is that research, because there are not still many research being done. There are many at the end. Quite a lot of projects we can do in this industry are still not yet to be explored. Okay, so that is also important, and also networking with the international. Okay, these are also opportunity that we can see that Dr. No has collaborated with Australia. That is a very, very good effort from Dr. No, and we hope that we can also work with other subtropical country, Brazil or elsewhere, right? Thailand, yeah, our neighborhood country, not to forget our Indonesia lah. They have so many. And another thing is the opportunity is that you have to make a diversification of the product. Not only just for like liquid form, maybe in terms of could be a chocolate form, a sweet form or what, and also application, yeah, to diversify the type of product, and could also be taste. The taste can be different too. If you like to drink coconut, so you do farming of this beehive around the coconut tree, so you can taste of the coconut, right? So there are multiple opportunities that I can see. Okay, I think that's all from me. So now.
Thank you, Dr. Najiha. I move to J. Arif. This question, opportunities and potential direction for stainless steel honey industry.
Thank you, Dr. Adiba. Okay. Before I touch on the opportunity, I would like to give some facts regarding the industry. Let me give some facts on our internal strength, actually, before looking at the external opportunities. The first fact is that in our scenario, in the Malaysian scenario, we sort of narrowed down the number of species that we are focusing on. In our case, we focus on Heterotrigona hittama and Trigona thoracica. So the less number of species is actually better because it's easier for us to manage. It's easier for us to do quality control. It's easier for us to do to develop standards, and it's easier for us to do regulation activity. And secondly, we are currently probably the largest producer of stainless steel honey in the world. Let me cite you a few figures. Okay, let's say in 2017, sorry, I don't have the slide here. In 2017, the output of Stingless bee honey was 134 tons, metric tons. And that has increased within 5 years. In 2022, we have produced 241 tons of Stingless bee honey. And in 2022, we have 1,200 registered farmers, which these are people who are registered with Department of Agriculture. Actually, we have more than this 1,200. So actually, the industry is quite big. It's much bigger than we expected. And the number of logs, the registered, we're talking about the registered number of logs or colonies of Stingless bee in 2022 was around 70,000. And the values of the honey based on 200 ringgit per kilogram was around 48 million ringgit. So this is a good figure to show that industry is important in contributing to the economy. And the fact that we have MS2683, even though we still need to revise it every 2 years, let's say, and Stingless bee honey industry, Stingless bee industry development plan or plan pembangunan industri Kelulup actually has been launched by KPKM, Ministry of Agriculture, in 2019. These are steps in the right direction. We have standards, we have plans, but then in the plan there are strategies, action plans, who is doing what what has to be done by certain number of years. All those are mentioned in the plan. However, of course, maybe due to the pandemic, we have some constraints there. But then now we need to do follow-ups, a lot of follow-ups, a lot of catching ups to do, so that we can ensure the plan is well executed. Okay, now regarding opportunities, with those kind of figures that I mentioned earlier, if there is demand locally, we can go and explore other markets, big overseas markets. Make sure we can make use of government agencies. Actually, our Ministry of Agriculture is quite friendly to the farmers. There are funds, actually, small funds to help the farmers to the sting, which can help the farmers develop their own products to solve their problems in processing the downstream products. We can approach RT, DOA, Jabatan Pertanian to help them and ask them to help with product developments. In fact, for the last year, actually, I helped one of the companies, Microp, actually. I helped Microp to produce spray dried honey powder, and it was a success. And we have transferred the technology to them, and maybe in a few months, maybe the products can be available on the market. And at the same time, the honey powder can be incorporated to other herbal products. So it's quite an achievement, and probably it's one of the initiatives that can diversify the product, the end products for the market. Okay, in terms of directions, where do we go from here? So we need to regularly update ourselves. I think I've mentioned this before, because there are lots of things going on all over the countries. All IPTAs in Malaysia seems to be involved in Stingless bee research, a lot of initiatives. But then still, these informations, this research, we need some sort of central agency or central committee to sort of organize, to compile the data, to compile the activities, just to monitor, not to control, but just to monitor, and then sort of, I wouldn't say as a gatekeeper, but then so that centralize things, so that if there are other researchers looking for data, looking for new projects, what to do, looking for gaps in the research areas, so we know where to find. because currently I don't think it does exist. I'm not sure about that. But at the same time, we still need support from the community. We need support from the Farmers Association because they need to approach the policymaker to emphasize the importance of stingless bee industry. Because sometimes, when policymakers change, they got different ideas, they got different knowledge. So we need to refresh their memory about the importance of stingless bee. You need these associations of farmers. They need to push. They need to keep pushing so that the policymakers can help. Otherwise, maybe it will be left aside. So I think that's all. Some of my ideas. Thank you.
Thank you, Encik Arif. Now we want to hear from Dr. Nida, the inputs on this question.
Thank you. So the question is on the opportunities, right? And which have been thoroughly explained with a lot of points have been shared by Dr. Najibah and also Encik Arif. It's just that how are we going to make this a reality? All these suggestion to centralize, for government to be involved, and of course we can say that if we are people in the field, it's best to do what we can control. It's best to contribute to something that we have the power to change, to make the changes into what we can. So we can say that government should do this, and institutes should do this, and all these societies should do this. But in the end, who's going to work? Who's going to do all of those initiatives that we are suggesting, right? We of course we can give our suggestion to these people. Okay, but in the end, we have to work together. So those who think, especially beekeepers, researchers that are already in this field, we have to work together. And we also have to, look at other examples of how people work together in other countries. Brazil, for example, have examples of institute where the researchers work with the beekeepers. In Africa also, we have the ECPE. If you look at the website, you can find it. So even though they're not a very highly funded institute in Africa, but they still, move forward to finding collaboration. So they really put a great commitment in working together to, this actually benefits their country, right? So in Australia, for example, I'm working with the Australian Native Bee Association. So this association, actually, they are inclusive of beekeepers and researchers, and they are actually very proactive. They have been the one who create their own standards. So the Australian Stingless bee standard is now already being in the process of being approved by the FSANS with the Food Standard Australia and New Zealand. So this is actually what they proposed by the Australian Native Bee Association. So we can see that we cannot just take a passive stand. We can make an active participation. As a beekeeper, you don't have to be someone in the university, someone with PhD to do that. Okay, as long as you are beekeepers, you are working with your community in your state, or it's best if it's in the whole country, it's the best. So you can make a change, create something like this, education session, for beekeepers and consumers, not just in English, of course, in Bahasa Melayu, right? In all other languages, and we can also invite. We have experience, we have connections with people from all over the world. We can invite them as an online speaker if you want. So, and of course, you can benefit from our relationship and our collaborations and our knowledge. We don't even charge for any of those knowledge. So, all the opportunities is very. A lot of opportunities. Okay, it's just that we want I personally want to see more active participations from beekeepers and people from the industry. I see there are positive, for example, Micro has been involved in research with the researchers in producing a product. I've also been approached recently by a company which produce health beverage from Sarawak, and they are interested to produce this Stingless bee honey drink as a health beverage. So this is one example, and this company is also ready to fund us with some of our research, research grant, right? To fund us with research grant, so that we can develop this healthy drink to be marketed as a Malaysian product. So that's this example on how we can work together and how we can actively make this happen without relying or just waiting, for the funding and help from the government. Because as we know, of course, the government also have other, many other different institutions and ministries, and all of them requires a lot of funding. So let's work together on this as well.
Thank you. That's very high hopes expressed by Dr. Nur Hasnida. Now that we have learned the uniqueness and benefits of Stingless bee honey, we have understood the challenges faced by the industry, especially in Malaysia, and we have heard views and opinions and suggestions made by the panels on the opportunities and the potential directions of this industry to go further higher. So we come to the last round. This will be my last question. I will start with Dr. Nur Hasnida. To recommend strategies to overcome these challenges and foster sustainable growth for the Stingless bee honey industry.
Thank you, Dr. Dipa. I think I mentioned all of those points previously. But maybe if I can add more. For sustainability, of course, we're talking about there are issues with the farming of this Stingless bee because, some beekeepers, they just, they don't follow the right procedures that are given by the Ministry of Agriculture, right? So that, they are the correct way of farming, which means that we don't just destroy trees, especially those in the forest. There is a method should be a method on how this bee farming should be sustainable, and it should also protect our environment. Okay, we should be become a model, okay, for all other countries, ASEAN countries, the countries in the tropical region, on how a good sustainable farming should be conducted. And I'm sure Dr. Dipa here, with her smart farming method, is paving the way towards that sustainable farming. And it's important because even though we want the benefit of the honey, we should also be protecting our environment in the process. Other than that, there are many issues because the time is limited. Other than that, we should also foster communication and collaboration with the indigenous people, because they are actually the ones who have been involved in the beekeeping of these things behind for many generations. And we should foster, especially in Gombak, I think you have many collaborations with the Orang Asal, right? So indigenous people, they actually have a lot of knowledge on how to rear these bees, different types of bees, and the sources as well. Okay, but of course we need to have a two-way communication. So this is why it should be sustainable. They might not have the knowledge on how to do smart farming, for example. They have the knowledge on which bees are the best, or which type of honey can treat which diseases. So we have to foster communication. So we give them the information on how to do a smart farming to protect the environment, and they give us the knowledge on, or the medicinal benefits of the honey. this is important is also for people in social science to document all of this in history, because we don't have, for example, the history of when is the Stingless bee is first, farmed or domesticated in Malaysia. There's no like research or history book which are documenting on that. In Australia, for example, they have been documenting on that. They are looking into the history on the indigenous people, when they first introduced it to during the colonization, and how they have been used throughout history. So it also should the whole study of Stingless bee honey research and industry should not just involve people from a science or technology background, but even people from social science background. So for example, to transfer, give all this knowledge of history, and the benefits throughout generations, which it will make it more sustainable in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Nurhasnida. I move to Dr. Najiha to hear her recommended strategies to foster sustainable growth for this industry.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Dr. Adiba. So I put that some of the challenges already, and I think Dr. Noor has also mentioned about to keep our biodiversity very well. It's important because we need plants, we need nectar, okay, for them to produce honey, for them to grow, for them to expand their colony. So it's important for us about keeping our environment well, not to promote deforestation. If you do deforestation, do plant it back. So it has a proper guideline. It has to be a proper monitoring by the authority. Okay. Another thing is when the researcher they go to the forest, they have to apply for a permit to collect plants. So I think there are certain states has really apply this to researcher. The researcher thought they can just go and take 10 kilos of plants and just cut down the tree like that. No, it's not like that. It's even though you have your own plants around your house, you have to get permission too. So you just can't simply cut the trees like that. So there's a good regulation being made by the authority that we have to follow, because it's important for this bee group of Stingless bee population. So this really help to produce more Stingless bee honey. Another thing is that there should be investment in research too, right? So it's quite hard to get research done nowadays, right? So it should be also this kind of helps, maybe not only depend on the government. We can also approach industry, the multi-million company or what, right? So we can try to invest in this kind of research together with this community, and by doing the networking or collaboration with society or also bee farmers, to work further or to move forward to get a better quality of Stingless bee honey. Okay. Another thing is that it should be something that a certificate lah. I think it should be a certificate be released, because from my study we have collected about 10 type of, there are many species of Stingless bee honey, more than 50. So far in my group we have already collected honey from 10 types. So they have different kind of components inside this Stingless bee honey. So there should be a certificate. It's best to have a standard certificate. I think like tree herbs we mentioned by Dr. No, it could be also a chemical marker. Not biochemical marker, it could be a chemical marker. So maybe when we found maybe the polyphenolic compound, it can also be a chemical marker. So at least it has a standard, right? I know there are multiple components because it comes from different plants. So it should be something like that. No? So it's bring up the image, or it will build up the trust from the consumer too. Okay. Another thing is that this can also be done by having education. Okay, education to the maybe to the consumers, to educate people how important, how unique is of this Stingless bee honey, so they may divert from the normal honey maybe to the Stingless bee honey. So this is also can help out the production of the awareness of Stingless bee population to be a kind of I think sort of economy to our community. I think other thing is that if we can have trust from the community, that is also good. To get support from the government and also from the international body, right? So that we need the support from the, I would say, the farmers or industry to help them to, upgrade the standard of our Stingless bee honey. I think that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Najiha. We have heard the strategies from researcher come academicians. Now let us hear from researcher from Government Research Institute, Cik Arya.
Thank you, Dr. Alima. Okay, before I forgot, I would like to mention that Stingless bee, actually, Marty started off the research on Stingless bee, actually not as producers of Stingless bee honey, not as a honey producer, but actually we started off with as a pollinator. So, when we plan our strategies for this industry, I think we can sort of include Stingless bee as a pollinator, which can increase the yield of our crops. So, we are sort of killing two birds with one stone. So I think, it will benefit both industries, the crop industries and our honey industries. Okay, and we have to ask ourselves, are we serious about this industry? How long we want the Stingless bee honey industry to survive? If we want the industry to stay, so we have to really sit down and plan and look at climatic changes, something like that. Okay, and in terms of sustainability, we want to reduce our dependency on colonies from the forest. We can no longer rely on having to go to the forest and then take the colonies from there and cutting down trees. We have to look for technologies and techniques, and I was informed by a trainer in the industry that there is a trapping technique actually to produce new colonies instead of splitting techniques, which is less successful. So this can reduce our dependency on the wild sources, on logs or from the forest. And there is another new technique actually introduced or studied by my researcher actually by Dr. Fahimi. He studied an in vitro queen bees multiplication technique which can mass produce queens. Just imagine the world full of lots of queens and faster queen production, faster propagation, and we probably can get more logs within a shorter period of time. So, but then for more information on that, you have to approach him on details on how he did it. And one more thing, modernization. We are talking about, the government was talking about IR 4.0, mechanization, digitalization. If I'm not mistaken, there is a funding available for mechanization and digitalization from the government to help farmers in these areas. We have to incorporate this modern strategies, modern techniques into our industry for us to survive, during this digital economy. And traceability. Part of the modernization, we need to think about traceability. We need to have systems in place to know specific honey products come from where. Let's say there are honey producers from all over the countries, and then when some problems happen with the quality in honey, so we know where to go to find out what's the problem, what's the cause of the problems in the honey. So we can go straight to the producer and find out what are the issues and try to solve their problems. So that's our strategies. We have to move forward. We have to look at beyond traditional methods. We have to look for let's say 10 to 20 years if we really want this industry to go big. At the same time, we still have to monitor the fake honey issue, but then I think nowadays it's much less compared to what happened in 2015, 2016. I think it's there. I think it's still there because I asked a few industry players and they say it is there, but then it's much less compared to the few years back. So that's basically what I would say on strategies, and we have to be serious for the industry to survive. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arif. Yes, seriousness. That's what I agree with that. Thank you, everybody who was serious from the beginning until the end of this forum. Thank you for listening attentively. I think we're ready for Q&A. We can take question from YouTube or from the floor. Orally or written, I can read the question. And what you
I
want
have
to
a
ask?
question. Do
Okay.
we need a license to develop this Stingless bee honey farm? Yeah. Sorry, the question to each other.
Yes.
As far as I'm concerned, I've never heard of any
I
license.
repeat the question for the sake of the YouTube listener. Thank you, Dr. Nasnida. The question is, sorry, Dr. Charif. The question is, do we need a license to start stingless beekeeping farm? Okay, Charif.
Sorry, based on my knowledge, there is no need for a specific license because it is not what do you call a rare insects or something. It's not a protected wildlife. So it is fine. I mean, you can have your own farm, beekeeping farms without any license. You just need some training and then to what do you call it, to make it easier for you. I think it's best for you to approach the Department of Agriculture. They have some kind of training. They can help you with maybe funding sometimes, or maybe they can give you free lots sometimes to start off. So I think that's the best.
If I may add, currently I'm involved with local Agenda 21 Kuala Lumpur, Kebun Kejiran Bandar. Starting next year, we have, not we as if me lah, the government have fund, Madani fund per community. They will up to 20,000. They will not give you cash, but they will give in kind, like what Cik Ari said. If you want to start stingless bee farming, you may need certain plants, certain flower that provide nectar, certain types of food that have resin. Okay, they provide advice, consultation, and they will provide the facility, units, fertilizer, okay, just need to apply under the name like what Dr. Sneha, Dr. Nadia said, society. Okay, because individual we have lower, individuals also can apply but lower amount. Society can have higher amount. Yes, persatuan penduduk, persatuan kebun, as long as registered, koperasi, as long as registered with SSM or ROS. Maybe Dr. Stina want to.
Tak, saya cakap persatuan wanita dan tanya tu wanita.
Persatuan wanita, bagus. Dr. Najih, so you want to add?
I think in terms of farming, there's no permission to get, just to get permission from the landlord, maybe. But in terms of product, if you want to register your product for nutraceutical or cosmetic, if you plan, the diversification of the product, like cosmetic or what, so you may need to register with the NPRA. So there is the requirements that you need to fulfill before register. I think if you want just to sell to your friend, you don't have to register.
Thank you to the question and thank you to our very anticipating panels willing to share. Any more question from the floor?
Tak nampak Nurul ni, mana ni?
How to know or identify within the real honey and mixed with water or the other ingredients? Pure water.
Thank you, Madam Engku, for the question. I will repeat the question for our online viewer. How to differentiate, how to identify and differentiate genuine pure colored honey with the adulterated that may have been added with sugar or water or vinegar. I think all panelists are capable to answer. I will go from Dr. Najiha.
All right, thank you, Dr. Adiba. So how to identify this? The best is that go to the lab. So we do the profiling. That is the best way. You can't just see through your eyes or test and dissolve in water or what if not soluble and that is considered as fake or what. No, you have to go to the lab to do this analysis. It's much more accurate. Sometimes you can see different colors. So seriously, honey has several colors, and that is the uniqueness too. So sometimes they are very transparent. They are like dark brown and yellowish. So it's quite difficult to say that this is a true or fake or what. So it's best to send to the lab. You can come to our lab and we can do analysis for you to do the profiling. Yeah, we have to do a lot of things to analyze. Okay, anyone for you?
Yes, I think this has been the questions, that people have been asking since this industry, I think, is taking place, right? And the issue on adulteration. It's hard to determine whether it's fake or not. Like Dr. Najiha said, you have to send it to the lab. There are also other labs, for example, NGVI, now called NVIM, I think. They met a kit, and also in USMKK team, okay, they developed a method on how to identify fake honey. People who adulterate honey are very smart. So, once you know that they're travelers, possibly they can, find a way on to probably travelers with some other things, so that probably half of the honey will be travelers and the others is not honey, right? Or if you find another marker, phenolic acid, they can also create a way so that phenolic acid can be present, for example. So there are always ways on how people who adulterate honey can create these products which are fraudulent. So the research in this area is still evolving. We're trying to, even though we're looking at in the lab, we as researchers, I think we are all looking into a shorter way on how we can just, for example, use a kit, a simple kit that can take maybe 5 to 10 seconds to detect whether this honey is adulterated or not. So that is the goal, but it's not happening now. So while it's happening, I think the best way is for us to source out these beekeepers who are responsible beekeepers. And that's why we suggest there's a centralized body which can do that. Give this centralized body, for example, will give, like a Jakim Halal, right? So we have a body that says, okay, this farm, okay, we confirm produce quality honey, for example. And currently, I think the agriculture through MyGap is doing that, but I'm not sure how effective it is. So I think that's also what the Ministry of Agriculture is doing. So I think there should be many ways on how we can prevent honey adulteration. And actually, it's a very important issue, because if we, if the honey produced in the market are not, pure honey, and this is going to be an issue when we want to export to other countries, because if we, our honey cannot be trusted, For example, even international market will not, be accommodating to our honey. If you look at Manuka, for example, it's easy example, Manuka honey, right? I think everyone knows Manuka. So the industry have even more advanced. The honey has been sold at higher price. So the government themselves in New Zealand, they're not afraid even to sue their own company in New Zealand, who they found that are producing fraudulent honey. So I think this is very responsible kind of act by the government to prevent adulteration in honey produced by its own country, to make sure that Manuka is internationally known. Manuka honey is internationally known as a quality honey. So there's an example on what they do to maintain, the quality of their honey. So I think it's something that we should also follow. Something that we can, as a good example. And even their researchers, if you look at papers published by New Zealand researchers, not all of them, just say, oh, Manuka is good. Some of them, being very, very scientifically, a strong scientific research, they will say that it doesn't have any effect on microbial growth or probiotic growth in the gut as being advertised. And this is published in British Journal of Nutrition. So it's a good paper, So by doing that, they are actually, raising the status of the Manuka as something that is thoroughly studied, thoroughly researched, and there are legislation, there are governing bodies that really are taking care of, looking at this quality of the honey that is being exported. So this is the kind of practice and image that we should build in the industry.
Thank you, Dr. Nohasnida, for a very elaborative answer. Maybe we want to hear from Dr. Arya.
Just to add a little bit, all this while we were given this question, basically in all courses that we have been conducting, I think it's the same question all over again, how to know whether it's genuine or not. We have always been exposed to, the traditional method, putting honeys on our nails and using matches, try to light up the matches, things like that. But then it's difficult. It's unreliable. So we have to use scientific methods, or more scientific methods, I would say. And so far, I think the cheapest probably method, because when we talk about scientific methods, it will cost us, of course. And the method or the kit introduced by MGI, the Genome Institute, I think it will cost you about 20 ringgit to test the authenticity of your honey. So you have to think whether it's worth. If you have a sort of a big amount of honey and then you want to test it, I think it's worth, just to make sure that you are taking what you are supposed to take instead of fake products. Of course, it's lucky for me because I work at the lab, so I know when I go to hypermarkets, I don't want to mention any names, and pick up several honeys. Coincidentally, I have been working with honey for product development, so we need to search for because producers, when they want to produce products, they want to look for the cheapest raw material. When they want to choose honey, they want to make it cheap because they want it, of course, profit. They want profit, highest profit as possible. So I've been looking. I went to hypermarkets and then pick all those on the shelves and then test one by one. Actually, I've given a talk on fake honey last year, I think. and we compared our data with Jabatan Kimia or Chemistry Department because they have more sophisticated method. They use IRMS, isotope ratio mass spectrometer, and then we have LCMS, liquid chromatography mass spectrometer. So we compare the data, and then we sort of confirm. Actually, there are products. We're talking about this is APSP honey. There are products on the shelf which are sort of not really genuine. So when the producers of health supplements would like to create a new product, they ask us for recommendations which which brand of honey they should use. In fact, they send their own samples. They have imported ones which are cheaper. They import a lot of honey from overseas as candidates for their as raw materials for their products, and we have to reject it when we found out that it's not a good honey because based on our study, we look at least they have the honey should at least have some plant hormones. Some plant hormones normally are present in honeys. So if they don't have plant hormones, and then we look for other polyphenols. If both of them are not there, it's just sugar, it's a caramelized sugar, and then that's it. We have to reject it. And then you have to be aware of those products. Sadly, I cannot tell you what's the easiest way to check which one is genuine, which one is not, unless we have to go to scientific methods. Thank you.
Hot question, Madam Ku. I hope moderator also can answer. Especially for IIM staff and students, if you want to get genuine honey product, join the flagship Stingless farming. Own your own law in IIM. And we have a nature forest. Okay, we have skilled staff, we have experienced staff. Just own one law, your own law. You don't have to share. That's your source of honey. Every time you come to office, we can give discount for student to PMP. Okay. Oh, you got leasing boleh.
I think we have one last question from the YouTube.
Cik Johari ada soalan.
Okay, actually I have two questions. When we talk about the product, as mentioned by Doctor about the Manuka, of course we have our own. When we talk about the product, as mentioned by Doctor just now, Manuka, we in our country itself, we're proud of Madu Tualang. Of course, everybody proud if we can buy the Madu Tualang. When we refer to Madu Kelulut, which one refer to that photo behind you? Which one is the best? In terms of the Madu. And question number two, I would like to know about the benefit, khasiat between three type of for the honey production. Honey bee, Kelulut, and Tebuan. Tebuan also have honey.
Ada. Tebuan dapat sengat adalah.
We start from Cik Arif to tak payah semua. Okay. Siapa kita open lah, siapa yang nak jawab. Cik Arif nak jawab.
Sorry, can you get?
The first question about the species.
Okay. It's a bit difficult for us because normally, I mean, as I mentioned in my talk just now, we in Malaysia we have narrowed down to two species, genus Thoracica and Itama, Tritigona Itama, genus Trigona Thoracica. So basically, most of the products on the market right now are produced by these two species, and based on our findings, I think we can say that. I mean, Torasica produce more trehalurus compared to Itama. So if you are looking for trehalurus, you should look for Torasica bees and honey, Torasica honey. So basically that's it. Another question.
Second question, difference between three types. Honey
Okay.
bee,
Tebuan.
I'm not familiar with that one. Frankly speaking, I've never heard of tebuan honey before. So basically, okay, I think I better be frank because for apis honey or honeybee honey, they are more sort of narrowed down. The source of nectar, they are more narrowed down, and I mean when they are reared in certain foraging area, that areas have only what do you call it? Only few species. Unlike Kelulut, I think they are more multifloral. I mean, they go all around the areas and then look for different source of nectar. So I would say probably in terms of benefit, probably I would look for Kelulut honey. But then I don't know. I think I would probably ask Advenu as well whether they can agree.
Okay, so we have done a study from my economy Stingless honey from the product line. So they doing the farming in one area where they are planting the acacia tree. So acacia plants, I think acacia manchina bukan, I think the flower is white in color. Okay, and they have multiple type of species of this stingless bee honey, stingless bee. When we do the profiling, we found that Hydrogenum apicalis produce the best antioxidant activity. Apicalis, not Itama, and also Torasica. Tapi this Itama and Torasica, they are very robust. I've been a lot of people doing farming using this Itama and Torasica, but Apicalis not very lah because they are quite fragile, I think. But in terms of producing the antioxidant activity, Apicalis is the best. But this information is only limited because we collect sample from one type of plant. Okay, there's acacia genome. It's quite difficult to say which one is the best too. Okay. Because it depends on the plants, where they have the beehive. It is quite when you do farming lah, it's quite difficult to say which one is the best. I think in my study, also we compare the madu palang and also Kelulut. This is from my master student work. So we when we do this in general lah, this study, madu palang, yes, it has more activity than antioxidant. So could be the specific from this one plant, could be maybe the Kelulut yang we collect ni is quite multiple. It's not one specific from the one I mentioned. So it still shows that it has a better activity. And but not to say that Kelulut is not best, but there are also Kelulut honey that is also better than tualang. I nak kata I am biased, not to demotivate, but they are also okay. The Kelulut honey is also better than tualang. It depends on your environment, on your plants lah, the surrounding. Okay, the cultivation of your when you do bee farming lah, itu yang affect the components in the honey. Okay.
Just going to add a little bit because it's during time for Jumaat prayer, right? Right. We recently found that there are probiotics in Stingless bee honey, so which may not be you may not find in honeybee honey. So I think if you want to compare actually they are, I always say, unique in their own way. So we cannot say which is honey is the best, as long as they're pure and they are reared in using the right procedures, standard of operation, especially with smart farming. I'm sure we get a very good quality honey production. Yeah, and of course we have to consider environment as well. Yeah, whether tualang or kedulut, all they both have issues with the environmental issues like deforestation as well. So all of those we have to take into account, and of course we see the potential kelulut as having unique properties with terrarulose and also the probiotic properties, and research are emerging on that, I think. Yeah.
So we have
Thank you.
one last question from the YouTube editor. How can advancement in stainless steel research and technology contribute to the overall development and sustainability of the industry in Malaysia?
How can advancement in stainless steel research and technology contribute to the overall development and sustainability of the industry in Malaysia?
Summarize the whole.
Summarize, yes.
Yeah, the summary of everything.
I think, or I already touched about, mechanization and traceability, digitalization. I think that would answer what the questions asked for. Basically, in the future, of course, we need more mechanization, more traceability, and so that can improve the quality. So we know when problems happen in the field, we know how where to find the cause, the root of the problems, and those are areas that can be tackled using scientific advancement.
Okay, I think the question is just asking us to summarize, right? So in short, I think there's a great potential for the Stingless bee honey industry to be developed, and it could be a source of, one of the, we have other sources, of course, of commodities, but I can, I think I have a positive, I see that there will be a positive impact on the whole economy of Malaysia. It can also be one of our commodities in the future.
I also would like to add here, the important thing here is to have a good documentation, a record. We are doing multiple research. The farmers, the beekeeping farmers are doing their great work too. And we should have a proper document, a proper record where we should have it. So it can be a reference for youngster like us, for youngster, for researcher. To find out what are the drawbacks, what are the things that they need to be improved, and what has been done. So we don't want to have any replication. That is important. Replicate, you repeat the things that have been done, so it's waste of time and a waste of money. So important things is to have a database. So in UM, actually we are developing a database, not only on medicinal plants, but we also on other natural products. So we are developing this database, not only physical, but also virtual. So we keep it in a record so that it can be an oversight, can be shared to others. So for industry also can go and find out what are the plants, what are the maybe honey. So we are doing slowly because there are a lot of plants, there are a lot of honey. So we need people to help out, to have this database. Database is a very big data. It's not a single component. There are a lot of things that to be done. So that is important for us, so that they support and give info to the government, to support this kind of activity.
Okay, with that, thank you, Dr. Najah. With that last question, it marks the end of this forum. I would like to thank our panelists, all three panelists. Thank you again, management of the al-Hikmah Library IUN, the attentive audience, and thank you everybody directly and indirectly involved to make this forum happen today. So let us close with tasbih kebarahan surah Al-As. Oh, I forgot token of appreciation. Excited nak close.
Lepas dah habis tak apa.
Nak promote sikit, aplikasi restorasi kat Itama semua ada kat flagship kita. Jadi boleh rasa semua. Okay, kita baca surah Al-As. Terima kasih semua.
Token bagi
Kita cendera mata, kita nak jemput, nak jemput.